everyone, it's Andrea, and welcome to this edition of Talks in the Car. We often talk about the abilities of God. We say how God can, God has, God will continue. But in saying that, often we do not look at the opposite side of that coin. Yes, God can. Yes, God will. Yes, God has already. Yes, God will continue. But some of those things are contingent on what we will do. God can if. And that if is if I do, if I proceed with, if I follow directions, if I do what I'm supposed to do, if I do my part, then God will. And a lot of times in this walk, we seem to have the notion that God is always going to just drop things in our lap. God is always going to just perform a miracle. God is always just going to open doors without any effort on our part. And while God can do that, and while God has done that, there are times and moments when God is looking for us to get up and do something. He wants to have us participate in the blessing and not just hand us things. The same way that we do not just hand things all the time to our children, we want them to learn responsibility. We want them to learn that they have to put some effort into the things that they want, into the things that they desire. Those of us who have children, I'm sure a lot of us, when they have asked for something, especially when they're a little bit older and they're able to do some chores or do some work, we have been able to say to them, okay, look, if you earn X amount of dollars, if you do A, B, C, and D, then I will match that. You know, when you have a child who may be looking to buy a car, sometimes we'll say, okay, we will provide this amount of money, but it's up to you to earn the rest. I may pay for a cell phone, but it's up to you to pay for the monthly fees. And so if we are trying to teach our children responsibility and to let them know that, you know, if you really want something, if you really desire something, that there is some effort, there is some work on your part to do that, then what can we say about God? If we say that God is our Father, then the expectation is that God is going to treat us as children. He's teaching us responsibility. He's teaching us to get involved in the things that we are praying for and the things that we are asking for. God will at times, like I said, just hand things to us. He gives us gifts the same way we give things to our children. But in saying that, He also wants us to be active. He wants us to get up and actually write the words on our computer or on a piece of paper for that book. He's not going to write the book for us. We're not going to see the miracle of the hand on the wall and just writing the words out. We're going to have to do the work. He is going to bless us with a home, with a car, with things that we desire. But in saying that, there are things that we have to do. We're going to have to work on that credit. We're going to have to shop for the car. We're going to have to look for the house. We're going to have to reach out to the mortgage broker and to the banks and do the footwork. There are things that we have to do in order for us to get the things that we desire. For that job, God might open up a door that we weren't expecting. But in other circumstances, God wants us to put our resume out there. God wants us to do the interviews. God wants us to talk to people. God wants us to make those connections. And in us doing our part, then we are assisting in the blessing. We are assisting in getting those desires of our hearts. I bring this to you, even for us as women. For years, we have been told that in essence, God is going to drop that perfect mate from the sky, that we should not run and chase and pursue and all those kinds of things. And yes, there is an aspect of that that's absolutely true. God is not calling us to chase. God is not calling us to do what he's called the man to do. But in saying that, how often do you think that God is going to bring someone straight to your doorstep? How often is our spouse going to be the USP man, the person who drops off our DoorDash, the person from Instacart who's dropping off our groceries? Most likely that is not going to happen. And so God is looking for us to show ourselves friendly. God is looking for us to get out there and to be active in society and to meet people. And it's okay to say, hi, my name is. It's okay to smile at someone. It's okay to accept a compliment. It's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to share with someone. You know what? I think that you're a nice person, would love to have the opportunity to talk. Those things are okay. But we also, in doing that, and I'll say this, show some decorum. We're not the hunters. We're not supposed to be, prowling and those kind of things. And we have to be mindful and monitor the how and what we do. But in saying that, we have to also allow ourselves to be seen. We have to allow ourselves to be in places and in situations where people can recognize that we may be that special person in their lives. So in saying that we want to be married and saying that we want a spouse, whether that's male or female who's looking to be married, there are things that we have to do in order to be joint with God, to join God in the blessing, to join God in acquiring the things that we desire for ourselves. And so I encourage you that while you are to step out on your faith and while we are to acknowledge the abilities of God, God can, God will, God has, and all of those things, the miracles of God, the favor of God. And while we are to acknowledge that, and we would like to pray for that, and we seek that, we also have to be very, very mindful of our part in the blessing, our partnership with God that allows God to move because we did. God can move on his own, but God is also looking for us to do our part. God is looking for us to open up our mouths. God is looking for us to go to that engagement. God is looking for us, like I said, to write that book, to share that gift, that talent. God is looking for us to move outside of the four walls of our church, outside of the four walls of our home. God is looking for us to be active, to be proactive, and to get involved in the blessing. So if you are sitting back complacent, if you are sitting in a place where you're just waiting for God just to put something in your hand, if you're waiting for God just to drop something in your lap, if you're waiting for God to turn the doorknob and open up the door for you, I would challenge you to look at that and to think, God, is there something that you are looking for me to do? Is there something you want me to participate in? Is there a move that I'm supposed to be making in order to partner with you to receive the things that I am praying for? And I would be willing to bet that if you seek God in those areas, he will direct you and show you what you need to do. He will lead you where you need to be at the time that you need to be there in order to receive the things that you are praying for, in order to receive the things that you are seeking. Yes, God can. Yes, God will. Yes, God has continued to. But in saying that, you have to be active. You have to do more. You have to participate in your own blessing. And when you see that, when God sees that you are willing to step out, when God sees that you are willing to make those moves, when God sees you actively talking, actively participating, actively getting your hands dirty, then he will join with you to allow the things that you are praying for to come to pass. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next time on Talks in the Car.